What's new in CloudBees CI 2.387.2.3? On April 5th, 2023, CloudBees CI 2.387.2.3 was released. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the highlights from that release. If you've never taken a look at the release notes for CloudBees CI, let me show you how to get there. We're going to start at docs.cloudbees.com. Under Documentation, go to CloudBees CI. Under the Documentation dropdown, go ahead and select Release Notes. And this puts you on the CloudBees CI Release Notes page. Now, one thing I want to go ahead and call out here is the very top of this Release Notes page is an important step. If you skip versions when you upgrade, refer to previous versions of the release notes for any known relevant issues or upgrade notes. So what this means is if I'm going to be upgrading, in this case from 2.375.3.3 all the way up to our current version, which is 2.387.2.3, I would need to go through the release notes for each of the releases between the starting point and the ending point. Now, as you can see, 2.387.2.3 was released on April 5th. On April 6th, I did a What's New in Jenkins LTS 2.387.2 along with Mark Waite. Since CloudBees CI is based on Jenkins, we covered a lot more things that were specific to what happened in the Jenkins project itself. If you're curious about that, the link for that video is down in the description. So you'll notice here that we have release notes for both traditional platforms and modern cloud platforms. We're first going to start with traditional, and then we'll go over to modern cloud platforms and talk about the items that are specific just for modern cloud. So if we go into traditional platforms, what we'll see here at the very top is there was a CloudBees security advisory released along with this version. Now, the two items that were in this security advisory are both listed under security fixes. One is use of unsafe snake YAML constructor. That's been fixed, as well as the CloudBees backup plugin uses a SHA-1 hash. That has now been changed over to using SHA-256. Again, these two items are from the CloudBees security advisory. If we go down into new features, right now, if you have been using configuration as code or Cask for a while, one item that was requested by many people is to be able to use branches and tags within configuration as code for controllers. This feature is now considered to be a preview feature. Be sure to check it out if you are using configuration as code. Let's go ahead and go down into feature enhancements, and there's a couple here that I want to call out specifically. Let's go ahead and go down to this one that's add a GitHub check to pre-validate bundle repositories pull requests. So now what you can do is you can add in a GitHub check to be able to look at what is in your bundle prior to it being applied. And it shows up as a check on the relevant pull request. There's a separate set of documentation for this. Be sure to refer to that if you're using GitHub to store your configuration as code bundles. Let's go down into the resolve section. And these top two are the ones that I want to call out really specifically. The first one is a null pointer exception occurred when using the test LDAP settings button. Many people were hitting this. This has now been fixed. And secondly, the add credentials button is rendered with a black stripe. With some of the changes that were happening within Jenkins, this also bubbled up into CloudBees CI and was just sort of an ugly looking button. Again, that problem has now been resolved. If we go down to known items, there are a handful of known items. If any of these affect you, be sure to reach out to CloudBees support. And those are the items I want to call out specifically for traditional. Let's go over to modern cloud. So if I go back and click on modern cloud, let's go down to resolved. Again, we see the security fixes, just like what we saw over in traditional. The branch tag support for Cask in preview, again, that's there. But I have one item that I want to call out specifically for resolved. And that is the shared inbound agent cloud page is now up to date. What had happened with the shared cloud is changes that had happened to the persistent or the permanent agents had not been brought forward into shared cloud. That has now been resolved. So there's a consistent look and feel across those agent configurations. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach out to us on Twitter at CloudBees. If this video was helpful to you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to CloudBees TV yet, why not? Take a moment, click on that subscribe button, and then ring that bell, and you'll be notified anytime there's new content available on CloudBees TV. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.